students, welcome you all to this session. So in the previous session we had started the new chapter called as phylum Platyhelminthes. We have seen the general characters of phylum Platyhelminthes. As you already know, Platyhelminthes, it is derived from two words, that is platy means flat and helminth means worms. They are commonly known as flatworms and body is dorso-ventrally flattened body. Okay, and we had seen some different characters like the digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, and most important is they have organ level of organization. Organ level means they have a particular organ for performing a function. That is, we had seen they have a specialized organ for excretion called as the flame cells or solenocytes or protonephridia. And you know, they also have bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry is exhibiting from this phylum only. Previous to this, there was asymmetry or radial symmetry. And we also saw that they exhibit diploblastic condition. Diploblastic means having three germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Then we had seen the hermaphrodite. Some are reproducing by sexual and asexual methods. Development will be direct or indirect. And we had seen some of the examples like planaria, liver fluke and tapeworm. Today we are going to discuss about the classification of phylum Platyhelminthes. The outline classification of Platyhelminthes. Just will recall, they are commonly known as flatworms because the body is dorso-ventrally flattened. Now this phylum is divided into three classes, that is class 1 Turbellaria, class 2 Trematoda and class 3 is Cestoda. That is Turbellaria, Trematoda and Cestoda is divided into three classes. Okay, now we discuss about first class, that is Turbellaria. Class 1, that is Turbellaria. The organisms or the animals belonging to class Turbellaria are mainly ectoparasites. So you should know, students, what is the meaning of ectoparasites. You know, parasites are the organisms which are depending on the host to obtain its nutrition, are called as parasites. Now depending on whether they are living inside the body or outside the body of the organism, parasites are divided into two types, ecto and endoparasites. These Turbellaria are, I told you, they are ectoparasite, means they are living in outside the body of the host, or they are dividing the nutrition by living outside the body. So they are ectoparasites, free living. Ectoparasite, just remember, very very important character, that is, they are ectoparasites and most of them are free living. They are free living mostly. Most of them are free living, means they are not depending on the host, but some are free living and they may be fresh water, either aquatic, terrestrial, fresh water or marine water. So they may be aquatic, that is maybe marine or fresh water, or some may be even terrestrial also, which are living on the land, terrestrial. Most of them are free living, this you remember the point, ectoparasites, and they are free living, deriving the nutrition from the host outside the body. Okay, and some are bottom dwellers also, or benthic you can say. Some are bottom dwellers. Bottom dwellers. Dwellers means the living one is called dwellers. So they are called as benthic. The organisms which are living totally at the bottom of the sea are called as benthic or bottom dwellers. They are mostly small, microscopic, okay, and body is unsegmented, dorso-ventrally flattened. As I told you, dorso-ventrally flattened, and body is unsegmented. See students, remember segmentation is found only in some members of Platyhelminthes but not all the animals of Platyhelminthes. Now we are discussing the characters of particular class of phylum Platyhelminthes. So we are discussing about first class, that is Turbellaria. The most of them are ectoparasites, some are free living, some are fresh water, some are marine water, and some are bottom dwellers also, living at the benthic region at the bottom of the sea, and mostly they are dorsoventrally flattened body. Suckers are absent here. As you know, hooks and suckers are present in most of the Platyhelminthes, but here suckers are absent. Suckers are absent. So those hooks and suckers are adhesive organs used for attaching to the intestine. As you know, some are endoparasites. In a tapeworm we will see in the next, after some time, there they are attaching to the host for obtaining nutrition. So suckers are absent, but adhesive organs are abundantly present. Adhesive organs. What do you mean by adhesive? Adhesive means used to stick or attachment. Adhesive organs are abundant, means more in number, abundantly present. Okay, so they are some of the characters of Turbellaria. That is, they are ectoparasites, terrestrial, aquatic. Aquatic again in the water, they are either marine water or fresh water. Dorsoventrally flattened body. See students, remember all the animals of this phylum are dorsoventrally flattened. That is the meaning of the term Platyhelminthes. Suckers are absent. So they have some adhesive organs for attachment to the host. And reproduction is by sexual and asexual means. This is very important point. Reproduction is by asexual and sexual means. Another most important point of this class Turbellaria is they have high power of regeneration. They have high power of regeneration. You know meaning of regeneration? If any body part is lost in these animals, or if these animals lose any of their body part, that part grows into a new individual or new animal or new organism, is called as regeneration. So they have remarkable power or high power of regenerating themselves, and mostly hermaphrodite. These animals are mostly hermaphrodite. You already know the meaning of hermaphrodite in general, but class wise also you should know the characteristics. Hermaphrodite means they are bisexual organisms, means the animals is having both male and female reproductive organs in their body. They are called as bisexual. So they are having both male and female reproductive organs in the same individual. So they are called as hermaphrodite. And life cycle is simple and development is direct. Development is direct. Now you know the meaning of direct and indirect development. Okay, direct development means in internal fertilization. Fertilization is fusion of male and female gametes. So if fertilization takes inside the body, there is no indirect development. Indirect development means there is larval stage. So here don't find any larval stage. So development is direct and life cycle is very simple in these Turbellarians. And about 3000 species of Turbellarians have been described. How many species? About 3000 species of Turbellarians have been described till now so far. You can say so. Class 1 Turbellaria. First thing remember is their ectoparasitic free living. The most common example or the important example of this class is Planaria. Planaria is the example of class Turbellaria. Okay, now if we come to Planaria, it is also called as Dugacia. Before going to the study of Planaria, once again we will recall the characteristics. So today we are discussing about outline classification of phylum Platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes is divided into 3 classes. Class 1 Turbellaria. The ectoparasites, free living, some are aquatic, again like aquatic they may be marine or freshwater, terrestrial also, bottom dwellers, dorso-ventrally flattened body. See student, this is very important point. In this phylum, dorso-ventrally flattened body, unsegmented. Suckers are absent and they have some adhesive organs for attachment to the host to obtain the nutrition. Then coming to reproduction, that is sexual and asexual means they have high power of regeneration. This is very important point. And mostly they are hermaphrodite, that is bisexual, having both male and female reproductive organs in their body. And development is direct without a larval stage. And how many species are there in turbellarians? About 3000 species of turbellarians have been described. Example, planaria. If you come to planaria a bit in detail, planaria is also called as Jugacia. The other name for planaria is Jugacia. D-U-G-E-S-I-A. Just to see the spellings, Jugacia. Planaria also called as Jugacia. It is a free living helminthes. Free living worm. Free living, and this is found in fresh water. It is a freshwater form and free living. See students, when we are discussing the characteristics, means I told you free living or parasitic or endo or ecto or marine, aquatic, it means that all animals exhibit different characteristics. Now if you take a single organism or single individual, it means that we are discussing only about these characteristics. So planaria is free living and it is a freshwater form. Maybe some other animals of this class may be marine also. So these characteristics are in general characteristics. So planaria is free living of freshwater form, also called as Jugacia. Sense organs are there. Sense organs, head is triangular. Head is triangular and sense organs are present here. Sense organs are present in the form of rudimentary eyes, you can say. Now we will draw the diagram of planaria. So sense organs are in the form of rudimentary eyes. Rudimentary means what? In evolution time, see the function of eyes was not so developed. Eyes is only for the sensing of light. So these animals have eyes called as rudimentary eyes. The body is triangular. Head is triangular, leaf-like you can say. Triangular head is there. Then they have leaf-like body. These two are eyes. Rudimentary eyes you can say, and this is the leaf-like body. Now if you come to the ventral view, this is the dorsal view. Dorsal view, if you see, the eyes are visible. Dorsal view. Now if you see the ventral view, in ventral view eyes are not visible. Eyes are not there. But here there is an opening called as protrusible pharynx. Here there is an opening which is leading to protrusible pharynx coming out of the mouth. This is called as protrusible pharynx coming outside the mouth. Here mouth is on ventral side. This is dorsal, this is ventral. Ventral side, the eyes are not visible here. This is on ventral side. There is a mouth, opening called as mouth, from which there is protrusible pharynx coming outside. So this is the diagram of ventral view of planaria. Most commonly, again they are hermaphrodite, as I told you. These planarians are hermaphrodite, means bisexual, having both male and female reproductive organs in them. Development is direct and fertilization is internal. You can add one point here. Fertilization is internal, inside the body. Again, one more important point here is there is cross fertilization in planaria. Cross fertilization you find in organisms called as planaria. So this is about the characteristics of planaria. So planarians are mainly free living freshwater forms. Head is triangular. Sense organs are present in the form of rudimentary eyes. As you can see here, head is triangular The entire body is flat, dorsoventral flat, leaf-like structure. If you see on ventral side there is opening called as mouth, from which there is protruding pharynx coming outside. That is the important character of this phylum. And one more thing, these planarians also have high power of regeneration. Most important point, these planarians also have high power of regeneration. Also, I already told you, regeneration, if the body part is lost, that part goes into a new planaria, gives us to a new planaria, is called as regeneration. So they have high power of regenerating themselves, is called as, that is the most important characteristics of this class Turbellaria. And even in planaria also, hermaphrodite, they have high power regeneration, free living, freshwater forms, etc. Okay, now we will go to second class, that is Trematoda. So first class we had seen, that is Turbellaria. Now we will go to second class of this phylum, that is Trematoda. Class 2, that is Trematoda. So as I already told you, first there are three classes in phylum Platyhelminthes. Class 1 Turbellaria, class 2 Trematoda. These are commonly called as flukes. These trematodes are commonly called as flukes, or commonly known as flukes. But looking at the name flukes, example comes to your mind, that is liver fluke. Yes, you are right. Liver fluke is an example of class Trematoda of phylum Platyhelminthes. They are ectoparasites or endoparasites. See here, now you can compare the characteristics. Here in Turbellaria there is only ectoparasites, but in Trematoda they are either ecto or endoparasites. Either ecto or endoparasites. Already told you the meaning of ecto and endoparasites. Ectoparasites are the organisms which are deriving nutrition from the host outside the body. Endo means they are living inside the body of the host and deriving their nutrition or food. So they may be ecto or endoparasites, but in Turbellaria they are only ectoparasites. Mostly they are ectoparasites living outside the body. Body is unsegmented. Again, same characteristics. Body is unsegmented, no segments, and dorsoventrally flattened. Same characteristics. Dorsoventrally flat or flattened body you find in these animals. Unsegmented means there are no segments in these animals, and dorsoventrally flattened and leaf-like. Flattened leaf-like body you find in flukes or liver fluke. They contain well developed suckers. See now, in Trematoda suckers are absent, but here they have well developed suckers. Well developed suckers. Suckers are very important for attachment to the host, as they are endoparasite or ectoparasite. If they are endoparasite, they are attaching to the intestine. So for attachment with the intestine, they require organs called as suckers to suck the food material from the intestine. And the incomplete digestive system lacks anus. Here digestive system lacks anus. Digestive system lacks anus. As you can see, there is incomplete digestive system. Now if you come to the meaning of complete and incomplete digestive system, what do you mean by complete digestive system? Complete means there are two openings called as mouth and anus, so it is called complete. Incomplete means there is only one opening which acts as both mouth and anus. So that condition you find in class Trematoda. Digestive system lacks anus. There is only one opening which acts as both mouth and anus. Next point is they are hermaphrodite. Again same point. Hermaphrodite, as you have seen in Turbellaria. Hermaphrodite means they are bisexual, having both male and female reproductive organs in the same individual are called as hermaphrodites, and they contain single ovary and two or many testes. They contain single ovary and 2 or many testes. So as they are producing both eggs and sperms in the same individual, one ovary is present and 2 or many testes are present, and life cycle may be simple or complicated. Life cycle may be simple or complicated. It means that some organisms of class Trematoda may be simple and some life cycle may be complicated in the class Trematoda. An example is liver fluke. The scientific name of liver fluke is Fasciola. We will draw the diagram of planaria now and see how the body is leaf-like, dorso-ventrally flat body. Example, liver fluke. Scientific name is Fasciola. Fasciola hepatica, you can say. Full name is Fasciola hepatica. Hepatica means, the meaning of hepatic means liver cells. So it is commonly called as liver fluke. So today we discussed about second class, that is first class Trematoda, first class Turbellaria and second class Trematoda. So we are discussing about characteristics of Trematoda with example taking as liver fluke. As I told you, why it is called liver fluke? Because they are endoparasites. They live in the intestine of liver. So it is called as liver flukes, and commonly they are called as flukes. Now we will draw the diagram of liver fluke. They have mouth, oral sucker, this is mouth, and they have oral sucker, genital pore and excretory pore in their body. It is a flat body leaf-like structure. So this is genital pore and this is excretory pore. So you have seen the diagram of liver fluke in your previous classes or in your PUC also. So liver fluke is an example of platyhelminthes of class Trematoda. It is scientific name is Fasciola hepatica. I told you hepatica because it lives in the intestine, that is in the liver. Hepatica, Fasciola hepatica. It is commonly called as liver fluke, lives in the liver. Now if you come to the characteristics here, it is also called as sheep liver fluke. It is also called as sheep liver fluke because it lives in the intestine of sheep, in the liver of sheep. Next, coming to bisexual, or body is flat leaf-like. As you can see, body is flat leaf-like. And again, another common characteristics is it is also a hermaphrodite, that is bisexual, having both male and female reproductive organs, dorso-ventrally flattened body with genital pore and excretory pore. Can draw here also. Okay. So this is the genital pore. Here there is genital pore and the excretory pore. Okay. So flat leaf-like, also called as sheep liver fluke. Now indirect development is there here. See here character changes. Here development is indirect, means there is larval stage here. Development is through larval stages, and the life cycle of this animal is digenetic. Di means two, it has two hosts. Life cycle is digenic or digenetic, having two hosts. Which are those two hosts? The first host is the sheep or goat, any one of the animals. This is called the primary host, and the second host is the limnea, an organism called as limnea, or the snails. limnia or snail. So this is the primary host and limnia is or snail is the secondary host. On what basis we are dividing that into primary and secondary host? How we can say that is a primary host? Primary host is the one where sexual reproduction takes place, or in which animal sexual reproduction takes place, that is considered as the primary host. Sexual reproduction takes place here, so it is called as primary host or considered as primary host. It may be sheep or goat, and secondary host is the limnia or snail where asexual reproduction takes place. So life cycle is completed by two hosts, so it is called as digenic life cycle, and the hermaphrodite, and development is indirect by larval stage. Now what do they feed on? They feed on blood. These liver flukes feed on blood cells of the host, blood cells of sheep, blood cells of goat, snails, etc. And even lymph also, they feed on lymph also, lymph, lymph. It is a fluid present in the blood. Next coming to, what about the respiration? They are anaerobic. Anaerobic means they respire without oxygen. So they live without oxygen, so they are called as anaerobic, without oxygen. Without oxygen. So these are some of the characteristics of liver fluke. About second class Trematoda, commonly called as flukes. They are either ecto or endoparasites. Body is unsegmented, dorsoventral flattened and leaf-like body. Well developed suckers are there. Digestive system lacks anus. They are hermaphrodite. Single ovary and two or more testes are present. Life cycle is simple or complicated. If you come to example of liver fluke, as you can see, body is flat, leaf-like. Development is indirect. It is also called as sheep liver fluke. I told you why it is called Fasciola hepatica. Fasciola is a scientific name. Hepatica because it lives in the liver. Next, feed on blood cells, anaerobic without oxygen, and this is most important point. Life cycle is digenic, means it requires how many hosts? Two hosts to complete its life cycle, that is primary host and secondary host. Example is Fasciola hepatica. This is about the second class, that is Trematoda. So first class is Turbellaria, example Planaria. Second class is class Trematoda, example Fasciola hepatica or liver fluke. Now we will go to third class, that is Cestoda. Class 3, that is Cestoda. Class 3, that is Cestoda. So first class Turbellaria, second class Trematoda, third class is Cestoda. All are highly specialized endoparasites. So once again, these are highly specialized endoparasites. Means they are living inside the body of the host to obtain its nutrition. Third class, that is Cestoda, of vertebrates, commonly called as tapeworms. Commonly called tapeworms. So in previous class, that is class 2, Trematoda, they are commonly called as flukes. Here these Cestoda are commonly called as tapeworms. Tape because the body is long, looks like a measuring tape. You have seen the measuring tape. It looks like that. The body of tapeworms is similar to tape, so it is called as tapeworms. Body is long, segmented, that you can see in the next, we'll see now the diagram. Body is flattened and ribbon like. Body is flat. All animals of this phylum are flat only, so they are called as Platyhelminthes. Body is flat, ribbon like. Ribbon like you can say, or tape like. You have seen the measuring tape with the tailor, the use of measuring the clothes. Similarly, it looks like this, so it is called as ribbon like or flat worms. Next, the body of tapeworms is divided into or differentiated into different parts. Now we will see. Body is differentiated into head, neck and strobilus. The different parts are there of this body of tapeworms: head, neck, strobilus, proglottids, etc. Scolex is provided with adhesive structures. Scolex has hooks and suckers. Scolex has adhesive structures called hooks and suckers. Hooks and suckers. Now very important character is this. Hooks and suckers are required for the attachment with the host, as the highly endoparasites living in the intestine. For living in the intestine, for obtaining nutrition, they have to attach to the intestine and obtain the nutrition. For attachment, they have hooks and suckers. Now we will see the diagram, hooks and suckers. And neck is very short and narrow. It is proliferative. Neck is very short. Neck is very short and it is unsegmented. Neck is very short and unsegmented. So we are discussing about third class, that is class Cestoda. Cestoda are mainly endoparasites, commonly called as. So we are discussing about third class, that is Cestoda. Here the highly specialized endoparasites, commonly called as tapeworms, and body is flat, ribbon like. Body is differentiated head, neck and strobilus. Scolex is having adhesive structures called hooks and suckers, and neck is short and unsegmented. Now we will see the help of diagram about the Taenia solium or tapeworm. As I told you, commonly they are called as tapeworms. Why they are called as tapeworms? As I already told you, tape means the body is long, ribbon like, looks like a tape which is used by tailor for measurement. You have seen it looks similar to that, so they are called as tapeworms. Scientific name is Taenia solium. I have underlined the reason, because it is a scientific name. If the scientific name is handwritten, it should be separately underlined. It is also called as pork tapeworm. It is also called as pork tapeworm. Pork because it is found living in the pigs. Pork, the meat of pig is called as pork, especially in pig muscles. Where it is found in? It is found in muscles of pig or the pig muscles. And here also the life cycle is digenetic, means it has two hosts. Life cycle is digenic or digenetic, involving how many hosts? Two hosts. Again saying, primary host is the pig and man, and secondary host is the pig. Primary host is the man, secondary host is the pig. Why it is called primary? As I already told you, primary host where the sexual reproduction takes place is called primary host. Secondary host is the pig. So it is called as pork tapeworm, because primary host where sexual reproduction takes place. Wherever in any life, you take any life cycle where there are two hosts, primary and secondary. Why it is considered primary? Primary because where sexual reproduction takes place in the body of animals, where sexual reproduction takes place, that is considered as the primary host, and asexual is considered as the secondary host. So they multiply in the body intestine of man, and in the pig muscles, that is asexual reproduction takes place. Now body is flat and divided into three parts. As I told you, body is flat and divided into three parts. Into the diagram here. Body is flat and divided into three parts. First one. So the first part is the scolex or the head. Scolex, or also called as head, which has hooks and suckers. Second part is the neck, and third one is the strobilus. So first part is the head part or scolex, second is neck, also called as prostrobilus. Neck is also called as prostrobilus. Meaning why it's called pro? Pro means it is present before the strobilus, so it is called as prostrobilus. Then comes strobilus. Once again, we are discussing about the example of tapeworm, that is Taenia solium. Taenia solium is a scientific name of tapeworm. Body is flat, divided into three parts. Scolex, also called as head, which has hooks and suckers. Second part is neck, also called as prostrobilus, and third part is the strobilus. Now this is the diagram. This is the head part or the scolex part. Next comes a short neck, unsegmented. Now if you see the segments, here the body goes on becoming wider and wider and wider. Segments are there. From here you find segments. Now see the segments becoming wider and wider. Okay, so this part is head or scolex, this is neck, and this entire part is called as strobilus. Now what do these scolex region has? That is, it has hooks and suckers. Now 4 suckers are there. This is one side. You will find incomplete suckers, and here there is a hook, you can say. So hooks. So hooks and suckers are there. So we label the parts. Hook. These are suckers for attachment to the host. The neck region. If you see the neck region, it is unsegmented. See, short, unsegmented. Segmentation starts from this strobilus. From here onwards, the segmentation starts, and each segment has both eggs and sperms, or testis and ovary, which are producing sperms, and they are called as proglottids. Those segments are called as proglottids. The segments are called as proglottids. Segments are called as proglottids. So this is the head region or scolex. Then a neck, which is unsegmented, which is only giving rise to, or you can say it is immature. No gametes are produced here. Then immature. Then from here starts the mature gametes are produced, and at the end there is segments which are detaching after the production of the eggs and sperms. They produce what you call cyst, and they are detaching from the body. So the proglottids are of 3 types: immature, mature, and gravid. Proglottids are of 3 types: immature proglottids, mature, and gravid proglottids. Proglottids are of 3 types. Proglottids means these segments. So once again, so don't get confused. Tapeworm, this is the diagram of a tapeworm or a flatworm, you can say. Tapeworms, commonly called tapeworms. Body is flat and divided into 3 main parts. Scolex, also called as head. Then comes the neck. Then comes the long segment ribbon-like shaped body called as strobilus. Neck also called as strobilus. Head region has hooks and suckers for attachment. You already know there are 4 suckers. 1, 2, 3, others on the back side, on the behind. Then coming to neck region, does not have any segments. Then coming to proglottids, from here onwards segmentation starts, and as you can see the body is becoming, segments are becoming larger and larger. Those segments are called as proglottids. Proglottids are again divided into 3 parts: immature, mature, and gravid. Here there are immature proglottids, then comes mature, and then gravid. Immature means eggs and sperms are not matured, the gametes are not matured. Matured means where fertilization takes place. Eggs and sperms are matured. As the hermaphrodites, they are producing both sperms and eggs, and fertilization takes place. So it is called as matured. And gravid, these last ones are called as gravid, where they have uterus here in the segments, and here cysts are produced in the segments, and after development, after fertilization, they detaches from the body. So those proglottids, which one? Gravid proglottids are always detaching and new segments are formed from here. From neck region new segments are as and when they are forming, and from the posterior end those gravid proglottids are detaching from the parent body. So this is how the reproduction takes place in these animals and the formation of cyst in these animals. So this is all about the class Cestoda. So fertilization internal. Internal fertilization again they have self-fertilization. Fertilization is internal and you find self-fertilization. As the hermaphrodites there is self-fertilization. So class 3 Cestoda. Once again endoparasites commonly called tapeworms. Body is long ribbon like. Body is divisible into scolex, neck and strobilus. Neck also called as prostrobilus. They have hooks and suckers for attachment for the prey. Short unsegmented neck region where new segments are formed or strobilus are formed, and they are detaching at the posterior end. After forming cyst in the uterus they detach from the parent body. Example Taenia solium or tapeworm. So this is all about the classification. So what all we have discussed today? We discussed about the classification of phylum Platyhelminthes. So it is divided into 3 classes. Class 1 Turbellaria, example Planaria. Class 2 Trematoda, that is example liver fluke, and class 3 Cestoda, example is tapeworm. So 3 classes once again: Turbellaria, Trematoda and Cestoda with examples. Thank you.